From the studio in Nitro, West Virginia, this is Unreasonable Doubt. It's a podcast about West Virginia University basketball. I'm Josh Witt, and a couple of bad firsts today for the 2025-2026 West Virginia University Mountaineers after a 10-point loss to Baylor. First home loss of the season. It was a good run, but that run ends today. And the first time West Virginia loses when they hold their opponent to under 70, which didn't look good after the first half. But West Virginia played good defense in the second half and held Baylor to under 70, and West Virginia loses. And what was not a first, it should never happen, but for 2 games in a row, West Virginia has a 7-minute scoring drought. They did it again. They somehow beat Kansas State with a 7-minute scoring drought. Today, they did it again. You don't want to see that once in a season, much less twice in a week. And West Virginia with a 2-game homestand against 2 of the statistically lacking defenses in the Big 12. West Virginia fails to break 60 in both games. It's the danger of looking ahead. Because you come off of a big win at Arizona State, you come back home, and you say, well, it's all looking rosy. 2 games at home against teams below you in the Big 12 standings. Yeah, it's Baylor. Yeah, that head coach has a national championship and has always got talented guys. Yeah. 2 wins. It's so difficult to look ahead in the Big 12 conference or just in general with West Virginia University sports. It's just hard. It's hard to do on paper. How many times it never, and West Virginia was ranked underneath Baylor today. Okay? Yes, Baylor came into this game 1-7 in the Big 12. They got swept by TCU. They lost against teams that are clearly the best teams in the conference, and they lost on the road at Cincinnati, the same that Iowa State did. 1-7 in the Big 12 can be deceiving. And yet West Virginia, if they don't go 7 minutes without not scoring a point, they were in this game. They were down 5 for a lot of that 7-minute stretch. And here we are talking about the offense. Haven't broke 60 in a while. That's 3 games in a row. West Virginia hasn't broke 60. It's 5 times in the month of January. They can't do it again because January is ending. But 5 times they failed to break 60. West Virginia 1-4 in those 5 games. 4-0 in January when they scored more than 60. Am I comfortable making the threshold? Hey, can West Virginia get to 60? If they get the 60, they win. I don't want to say that out loud. But the offense. Ken Pomeroy's computer has WVU's offense right now as 128th in the country out of 360-plus Division I teams. Only Cincinnati's offense is worse in the Big 12. And it makes you think back to the Bob Huggins days. And not one of us, Hall of Fame coach, not one of us, when you just start describing Bob Huggins and what his teams were like and what you think of him as a coach, you don't think of him as a offensive guru. You didn't watch Bob Huggins' offenses and marvel how it's beauty. It wasn't. But only once in his stretch at WVU did Bob Huggins have a team with a offensive rating in Ken Pomeroy's computer sub 100. And the reason that happened is because Bob Huggins' teams got offensive rebounds. They were elite at it. And every season post Bob Huggins, the offensive efficiency has been sub 100. So we're going on 3 seasons in a row where WVU will be sub 100. And the key difference is the offensive rebounding has went way down. Now, Ross Hodge is sending it back in the right direction. It was really bad in the interim season, even worse under the last guy. So Ross Hodge has got offensive rebounding to the Division I average, but average is not elite. And the offense is what did it today. And as Ross Hodge would say, credit to Baylor. They seemed really good defensively against WVU. But you have to look at Honor Huff today. He didn't have it. He shot 1 for 13 from the floor. Could not get a shot to fall. Some of it was Baylor's defense. Some he got open shots for Honor Huff, and they didn't go down. He finished with 5 points. No points in the second half. 0 of 9 in the second half for Honor Huff. Huff and Eaglestaff had 9 points. They all were in the first half. He was a big reason West Virginia fell down 10 early. Trayson got West Virginia back in the game, gave West Virginia a lead. He shot the ball twice in the second half and missed both shots, didn't get to the free throw line. So Honor Huff and Trayson Eaglestaff were both held scoreless in the second half. And that is not a recipe for winning. I mean, ingredients you don't want. 7-minute scoring drought. Your 2 best offensive players not scoring in a half. West Virginia's just not, it doesn't matter who they play. They're not going to win when those 2 guys don't score a point, especially in the second half. And it was Brendan Laurent that kept West Virginia in this game offensively, but he wasn't perfect. I mean, Brendan Laurent, the creator, it wasn't great today. He had 4 turnovers, a lot of those telegraph passes, but he kept West Virginia in the game. But offensively, you look at the start of this game, early on, the offense was running through DJ Thomas. I mean, we're having Thomas do the ISO back down. He's joining the group of guys that it's like, clear out. I'm going to win 1-on-1 against my guy. Now, I like DJ Thomas, and I want him to come back and wear the gold and blue next season. This is not a reflection on DJ Thomas. I'm just asking questions. When DJ Thomas is backing down somebody, is anyone coming to help? It's not. I mean, that's not happening. And I think overall, when you look at the offensive statistics and you see what happened today, it's a lot of ISO. It's a lot of back down. And not only is it not visually appealing, it's when it's not working, it's really not working. When Jasper Floyd is doing the back down, when Laurent is doing the back down, when you throw it in the post to Obioha and he's trying to get his bucket over his guy, all of that is happening with nobody coming to help. Nobody's doubling on Jasper Floyd. Rarely is anybody doubling on Laurent. Nobody's doubling Obioha. No one's leaving Honor Huff to come down. No one's leaving Eaglestaff now to come down, and I don't think it's happened a lot even before now. Don't get me wrong. It has worked. You think about the Kansas game. It turned the Kansas game around when I didn't like it when it was happening, but you got to give him credit. When Jasper Floyd started doing the back down offense, it turned the game in the Kansas game. So Ross Hodge has proof that it works, and I've seen it work, but then it looks like what it looks like today. I mean, you look at that 7-minute stretch, it's tons of isolation, no offensive rebounds. missed shot, one and done. Turnovers. We threw a double dribble into that 7-minute stretch. No easy looks. And this isn't the NBA. I mean, it's got a pro-style feel, but West Virginia, love and respect to the guys, I don't like the odds of them winning those one-on-one contested shots over a long period. And when they do, of course it works. Then they're making it, then it draws a double, then you're kicking out to an open Huff or an open Eaglestaff. I get the concept, but when you're 128th in offense, then the scouting report is, hey, if they do ISO, just try to stay in front of them. And if they're backing you down, I know you want to go down and help. Just let them prove that they can do it, and they couldn't prove it today. It's rough. And this offense is capable of getting easy buckets. We've seen it. But not a ton of that today in the second half. And the jump shots weren't falling. I did not have this as a must-win game. Again, the computers had Baylor ranked ahead of West Virginia, even though they were 1-7 in the Big 12. And now with multiple coaches coming through, the last time West Virginia beat Baylor was the last game before pandemic. Loudest I've heard the Coliseum in person. And there you are. West Virginia still 5-4 in the Big 12. More wins than losses. They're still in the top half of the Big 12 standings, barely. They're hanging on to 8th, but in a 16-team league, that's top half. So West Virginia's still there. West Virginia's got as many Big 12 wins as BYU right now. Go figure. They're halfway done with the Big 12 schedule. 9 games left. You've got 5 on the road, 4 home games. Brace yourself. 7 of the 9 games, based on the current Ken Pomeroy computer standings, 7 of the 9 are against teams ranked above you. Okay? So that's not great. But the flip side is, if you want to get to the bubble, and I have this mission of West Virginia. I'm not expecting West Virginia to make the NCAA tournament. I'm hearing myself say it, and it sounds really sad that I'm trying to push this team not to the tournament, but to the conversation of could they get in the tournament? That's where I think that's their ceiling. I don't like saying that, but I think that's where I'm at, and I'm trying to will them there mentally. And if you're with me, I'd be shocked if you're with me in this, what sounds like very, one could call sad attempt to get West Virginia just to the conversation of getting to the NCAA tournament bubble. But if we want them to get there, then you've got to beat teams ranked higher than you. And so West Virginia's got 7 opportunities to beat teams ranked higher than them in one specific computer. Plenty of chances left. It's not being talked about. I don't know how many times since West Virginia's joined the Big 12 that they are spending this long in the Eastern time zone. West Virginia just played 2 games in Morgantown. The next 4, all in the Eastern time zone. So it's a 6-game stretch where you don't have to reset your watch or do you have to turn your phone off and back on? I don't know, whatever. That's good. That's good. In the middle of the Big 12 schedule, you've got your West Coast trip out of the way. So West Virginia needs to take advantage of staying in one time zone. So I laid out the path to the bubble formula after the Colorado game. So what I laid out after the Colorado game is West Virginia's got to win every home game they're a favorite in. And every time they lose a home game where they're the favorite, you got to win an extra game on the road. So update there, West Virginia's won a home game, Kansas State, and they lost one to Baylor. So they already have a makeup road win they have to get. The 2 games where they would currently be a betting favorite, Utah and Central Florida. And Central Florida, maybe it's the season finale. That at that point, West Virginia may be an underdog, but right now they're a favorite, and we'll still lump these two together. So I'm going to mark those as must wins, and you can't make up the loss for UC if they lose at home to UCF because that's the last game of the regular season. So let's mark Utah and UCF at home must wins. And if they win both of those, that's 7 Big 12 wins. And apparently Central Florida really good at basketball this year. They just beat Texas Tech today in Orlando. So if West Virginia beats Central Florida even at home, that's a good resume win. You get that in the good column. So got to win those. I said you got to win at least one home game versus Texas Tech or BYU. That hasn't changed. Texas Tech is coming up next weekend. So if you get one of those, that gets West Virginia to 8 Big 12 wins. And then, just like last time, the final step is the trickiest step, and that's win a couple of road games plus any makeup wins where you lose as a home favorite. So good news, West Virginia got a road win at Arizona State, so they have one, but instead of needing just one more, they now need 2 because of the loss at home to Baylor today. 5 opportunities on the road remaining. Cincinnati, UCF, 2-game road trip versus TCU and Oklahoma State, and then you go to Kansas State. And just like when I laid it out last time, this is the sketchiest part. UCF is looking tougher and tougher, especially at home. Road wins over Cincinnati and Kansas State would mean sweeps, and that's always tough when you're not the best 4 or 5 teams in the conference. There's a frog court curse. I didn't realize that Baylor had West Virginia's number, but I do realize that the frog court has been difficult under Jamie Dixon. And so finding a couple wins in this group of 5 is challenging. Glass half full, maybe when West Virginia gets to Manhattan, Kansas State has packed it in, and those guys want to be done with the season. Wes Miller, West Virginia swept Cincinnati last season. Maybe Wes Miller can throw us a bone again this season. Oklahoma State is not bulletproof in Stillwater. They've already lost twice at home in conference play. But if West Virginia gets 2 more road wins and they do the other things that they need to do, that's 10-8 in the Big 12. And I have to reemphasize, 10-8 does not necessarily get you in the NCAA tournament. It gets you where I'm trying to get them, which is on the bubble. Like right now, I'm sure they're going to leave Joe Lunardi's PDF of what he's putting together for his bracketology. A lot of people do it besides Joe Lunardi, but giving him as the example, West Virginia makes the PDF in the considered category. But that's just one guy. And I'm looking at the bracket matrix of where somebody actually has West Virginia in their 68 teams. And nobody's got West Virginia in their 68 right now. But 10-8 in the Big 12, you've got a chance to make the bracket matrix. Also, 10-8 can look, there's a lot of different ways to 10-8, and some paths to 10-8 look better than other 10-8s. I mean, and so let's look at the resume right now. West Virginia is 14-8. They're 5-4 in the Big 12. If you're watching an ESPN game and Joey Brackets is on the side and they're doing the resume stuff and they bring up West Virginia, I think it actually happened today. We got a quick look at where West Virginia's at. The list right now, good wins, they've got one. They've got the Kansas win, which is aging well. What is West Virginia's second best win? And would that be in the good win column on the graphic? It doesn't matter what their second best win is. It's not good enough to make the graphic. So good win, Kansas. Bad loss, Xavier in Charleston, Wake Forest in Charleston, West Virginia. Maybe today's game, if that's the last Big 12 win Baylor gets this season. So more bad losses than good, and it's not great right now. But if West Virginia gets the Big 12 wins, what those 10 look like depends on, we want the graphic to look better with those 10 Big 12 wins. So if West Virginia, and there's a path where West Virginia gets 10 Big 12 wins, but they only add one good win to the resume. And if they do that, they may not even get in the bracket matrix. And if they do, it's like one bracketologist really curmudgeon and stubborn and like, I've looked at all the numbers over and over. West Virginia deserves an at-large bid. It's the only person. But that technically gets you in the matrix. That's the darkest side of the bubble. if you only have 2 good wins. But there's a scenario where West Virginia gets 10 Big 12 wins, and the good win column is wins over Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, and UCF. Now that's a good-looking resume. And I still don't know. I'm so cynical based on what happened last year. But to me, that resume is an NCAA tournament resume, and it looks way better. But that also means you got to beat Texas Tech and BYU and UCF. And that's an uphill climb. It is for this team. I'm saying there's a chance. I'm saying it's possible. I'm one person saying that. Unreasonable Doubt is under the Smoking Musket umbrella. Go to smokingmusket.com. Read posts about WVU sports, daily throwdown. Check that out. Go to the Discord. We're talking about WVU sports and other stuff on the Smoking Musket Discord. Link for that is in the show notes. Listen to West by Pod, the WVU football podcast under the Smoking Musket umbrella. Do all that stuff. Smoking Musket. The next game for WVU is Thursday, 7 p.m., ESPN2. West Virginia hits the road, Eastern time zone, rematch with the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, since Cincinnati left Morgantown, they've won Big 12 games. They're 3-4 since leaving Morgantown. All home wins. Impressive win over Iowa State. They beat Baylor earlier this week, the Baylor team that just beat West Virginia. Sincere Harris, we saw in Morgantown. He's missed the last 2 games for Cincinnati. We should see Kirk Kriisa. He's healthy again. He's coming off the bench for the Bearcats. So we may see 1 or 2 former Mountaineers suit up in Cincinnati. Kirk Kriisa didn't play in Morgantown. Cincinnati went to Houston today, and they got what Houston gives to teams that come to Houston. They got a whooping. But just like Arizona State, when West Virginia went to Tempe to play them, Cincinnati is coming off the Houston game. They get to take the donut off the bat and play West Virginia. Baba Miller, who was held in check in Morgantown, but is one of Cincinnati's best players, he went 1 for 8 today in Houston. So just like Baylor's really good guard today that had a bad game in Cincinnati and then went off today for Baylor against WVU, we had that situation for Baba Miller back at home. Cincinnati is still a top 10 defense per Ken Pomeroy's computer. Cincinnati also still bad at offense, the only offense worse in Ken Pomeroy's computer than West Virginia in the Big 12. Wes Miller's still their coach. Can WVU sweep the Bearcats and send Wes Miller spiraling again after the game? We'll find out. That's it for this episode of Unreasonable Doubt. Listen on all the platforms and just pick one. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Overcast Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube. Until next time, I'm Josh Witt, WVU for the 2025-2026 season. They have 14 wins and they have 8 losses.